$91,000. That's what I pulled last year, running my own HVAC crew out of 3 trucks in a warehouse off Loop, 820 in Fort Worth, and on the night my gallbladder tried to kill me on my own kitchen floor, my wife's first phone call wasn't to 911. It was to Delta, asking if our Aspen flights were still refundable if the delay was medical. Let me back up. My name is Marcus Reyes. I'm 47. I built Reyes Comfort Systems from a single-used van in 2009 into a company that services half the new, builds in Tarrant County. I'm not rich. I'm the guy who answers his own phone at 6 a.m. because a client's AC died in July in Texas. Doesn't wait for anybody. My wife, Danielle, runs a boutique interior staging business. She's been trying to scale for 4 years. My daughter Peyton is 20, home from TCU for the summer, mostly to lie by the pool and post about it. Love in my house was never a conversation. It was a language of doing. I rewired Danielle's staging studio, lighting on a Sunday because she mentioned once the bulbs made everything look yellow. I spent 3 weekends under Peyton's Civic replacing a clutch because a shop quoted her $1,100. And that's basically a crime, Dad. Nobody asked. I just showed up. So in April, staring at our shared calendar past midnight, I decided to do something big. Aspen, I told Danielle over coffee. A week at the Little Nell. Skiing, the spa, all of it. Already booked. $9,000. Don't worry about the cost. 4 words I'd replay for the rest of my life. Like a busted radio stuck on one station, Danielle's eyes actually went wide. Not the polished wide she does for staging clients. Peyton came downstairs still holding her phone and actually hugged me. Actually meant it for maybe 5 seconds. Best dad in Tarrant County. I want you to remember that 5 seconds because it's the last time either of them looked at me like I mattered more than what I could hand them. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, buckle in. This one goes somewhere. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And hit subscribe before it gets good. Because it's about to get very good. 3 months of double shifts paid for that trip. I ran service calls until 9 at night. 8 protein bars in the truck cab to save drive time. 2 days before we flew out of DFW, I was hauling a compressor unit into the warehouse when something in my abdomen lit up like a live wire. I went down on the concrete between 2 service trucks, sweating through my shirt, unable to pull a full breath. My foreman found me 20 minutes later. Emergency surgery that night. Gallbladder, infected, close to rupture. One night at Harris Methodist, discharged the next afternoon with a 6-inch incision, a bottle of oxycodone, and strict orders. No lifting, minimal movement, someone checking on you daily for at least a week. Danielle drove me home in total silence. I told myself she was scared. I gave her a day to be scared. By the second day, the silence had a different shape. It was arithmetic. I was half asleep when I heard her in the hallway. That clipped tone she uses with vendors who miss a deadline. No, I know. But it's non-refundable, Carol. $9,000 just gone if we cancel. No, he's fine. He's resting. Fine. I was lying there with staples holding my abdomen shut, and I was fine. 3rd night after surgery, she sat on the edge of the bed. Dressed. Hair done. A suitcase already by the door I hadn't approved. Honey, she started, using the exact voice she uses to tell a client. Their tile choice is bold. The trip's non-refundable. And the doctor did say you need quiet to heal. We'd just be in the way. Peyton's already packed. You wouldn't want to take that from her, would you? There it was, the move. Make my objection her villain origin story. She called Carol right there at the foot of my bed, laughing a little. Like this was a scheduling hiccup and not her husband 2 days out of surgery. Take the master suite, she said. Don't let it go to waste. She hung up, set a bottle of water and a granola bar on my nightstand, and said, order something if you get hungry. Love you. Feel better. Garage door up. Garage door down. Then a silence I'd never heard in that house before. Not peaceful, abandoned. I don't know how long I lay there before I heard the front door again and panicked, thinking someone had broken in. Then a voice I knew, My sister's kid, Tyler, 24, working the overnight bay at a transmission shop off Camp Bowie, saving every dollar toward his own restoration garage. Danielle called him the kid who never finished anything at every family dinner, usually to his face. He stood in my bedroom doorway in his work coveralls, looked at the empty granola wrapper, looked at the suitcase-shaped dent in the carpet, and just said quietly, "Mom told me. Figured somebody should be here." "They left for Aspen," I said. "Couldn't get the refund." He didn't say anything for a second. Then, "Nobody should have left you like this. That's messed up." He rolled his sleeves up and started making me actual food. That question he asked next, "When did you last eat something that wasn't crackers?" was the first real kindness anyone had shown me in 4 days. By day 2 of the trip, my phone buzzed. "Peyton, how are you feeling?" 4 words that cracked something open in my chest. I typed back too much, too honest. That Tyler had been amazing. That I'd thought about her the whole time I rewired that studio light. That I loved her. 2 gray check marks. Nothing back for hours. Nothing back by night. The next morning, I found out why. Her TikTok. A bikini, a lip sync bit, a caption. When your dad texts you an essay from his deathbed. Lowell, dramatic, where dads be like. 47,000 views. I read it 6 times, waiting for it to say something else. It never did. I didn't cry. Something colder happened instead. Something settled. Tyler came back that night with real groceries, not survival food. He caught me staring at nothing. "You good?" "Fine," I said. The word tasted like ash, because it was the exact word Danielle had used on the phone with Carol. 2 nights later, I overheard him on the back patio, thinking I was asleep. "Yeah, Ma, I know it was a real opportunity. Shop manager position, benefits, all of it. I know. What am I supposed to do, leave him here alone?" "No, I already called them back. Told them I couldn't take the interview." "It's done, Ma, drop it." A 24-year-old kid, Danielle called a deadbeat behind his back, had just quietly given up a real job for me, and he was never going to mention it. I remembered. That's my problem, according to my wife. I remember everything. Day 5 brought the phone call, 11 at night. Her voice soft and slurred just slightly. "I'm sorry, Marcus. I've just been drowning. The business isn't taking off. Peyton's tuition, I needed to breathe." For one hopeful second, my chest actually loosened. "If you're drowning," I said, "come home. We'll figure it out." "I know," she said. "I just need a few more days." 7 the next morning. Instagram. Danielle, Carol, and another woman in white spa robes, green clay masks, cucumber water. "Self-care isn't selfish." I read that caption the same way I'd read Peyton's, over and over, waiting for it to mean something other than what it obviously meant. She wasn't apologizing to me. She was apologizing for herself. Took 20 years and a burst gallbladder to learn. There's a difference. The mail came at 11. Tyler brought it in. The usual junk. And 1 certified letter, signature required, from Chase Business Banking. Danielle normally intercepts the mail before I even see it. I never thought twice about that before. I do now. "Open it," I said. "Read it to me." His face changed as he read. "Notice of default on the business line of credit. 90 days past due. 30 days to cure, or the bank moves to collect against the warehouse as collateral." "That's not possible," I said. "That account auto-pays out of the business checking every month." I set it up myself. "It's saying otherwise, Uncle Marcus. Chris, Tyler, help me to the office. Every login for the business accounts. Password incorrect. Every one. They'd all been changed." I called the bank, sat through 20 minutes of hold music, finally got a rep who reset access after verifying my social and a security question. What I found made my stomach drop through the floor. Paperless statements. Contact email changed to something I'd never seen. And 2 personal loans, $42,000 combined, both bearing a digital signature that was unmistakably meant to look like mine. Except, I have never once used an e-signature platform in my life. Timestamps. The exact afternoon I was in surgery. IP address. Our home Wi-Fi. I pulled up Danielle's staging business Instagram. Months of posts. a leased. Range Rover, she called a client. Vehicle, a walk-in. Closet of designer staging props that never once appeared in an actual listing. A booth at a home show that cost more than Peyton's tuition. None of it made money. It only spent it. And the $42,000 had landed in her business account, then split within 48 hours into transfers to Carol and the third woman. Renee, reimbursements for the exact trip. I'd already paid $9,000 for. She used stolen money to upgrade a vacation I was recovering from surgery to pay for, and she paid her friends to come do it with her. I called a family law attorney a colleague referred me to, a guy named David Ferris. Calm, in the specific way of someone who's seen much worse. "Here's the truth, Mr. Reyes," he said. "Report the forgery, and she's looking at federal charges. Bank fraud, identity theft. Don't report it, and $42,000 in debt is legally yours whether you signed it or not. And if you do report it, you have leverage most people in a divorce never get. If you've made it this far, drop a comment telling me what you do in my position, because what I actually did next is the part people won't stop talking about." That night, I sat at my kitchen island and turned off 2 cards from an app on my phone. Danielle's joint card and her personal card backed by the forged loan. My thumb hovered over the toggle for a long second. Last chance to be the reasonable one. I'd been reasonable for 20 years. I flipped both off. The text came within the hour. "Card declined at dinner. Must be a bank error. Can you check?" I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, she called. Restaurant noise behind her. Voice pitched low and urgent, the way it gets when she's performing calm in front of an audience. "Marcus, my card's declined. There's 6 of us here. Are you trying to humiliate me?" I turned them off. I said, "Because they're my cards. My name. My credit. Some of it's your signature, too, apparently." Silence. Then, ice cold. "Turn them back on right now. Not concern for us, just the horror that Carol and Renee might see the cracks before she'd finished plastering over them." The next morning, my attorney filed for an emergency injunction freezing every joint asset before she could touch another dollar. It went through by 2 that afternoon. Then I did the part I'd been building toward since the certified letter landed. I emailed Carol's husband and Renee's husband. Found through the home. Show sponsor list. 1 factual, non-accusatory summary. My hospital discharge paperwork, dated the same week their wives were photographed at a spa funded by forged loans. A clean ledger showing exactly where the $42,000 went. And the self-care isn't selfish screenshot. Time-stamped the same morning I was trying to sit up on my own. I didn't editorialize. I let the math do the talking. Then I drove out to a lot-off white settlement. Road where Tyler had been eyeing a used but solid restoration bay for over a year. "You don't have to do this," he said, hands in his coverall pockets, trying not to sound like he meant it. "I know I don't have to," I told him. "I want to. You gave up a real job to feed your uncle broth. Least I can do is make sure that wasn't for nothing. We structured it clean, my untouched personal savings, never near the joint accounts, funding the purchase outright. Tyler owns the shop floor. I handled the books. 20 years of running. Crews finally useful for something that felt like building instead of just billing. Reyes and Cole Restoration, he said, testing the name out loud, looking at the blank sign like he could already see it painted. They landed at DFW the next evening. I know because the family locator app Danielle insisted we all keep for safety still had. Peyton's dot moving up 183 toward the house. David was already at my kitchen table with a folder. Tyler stood in the doorway, wrapping his tools. Not hiding, not performing, just getting ready to head to an early shift. Because life keeps moving whether you're ready or not. Garage door up, down. Danielle came in first, sunburned, designer sunglasses shoved into her hair, eyes wide with something close to panic. Peyton trailed behind, clutching her phone like a shield. "What did you do?" Danielle said, voice cracking. "Carol's husband is filing for divorce. Renee's husband froze their accounts. They think we ran some kind of scam." "I didn't do anything," I said. "I just sent them the truth. I showed them exactly where the forged loans went and how you paid your friends. Way into a vacation you funded with my name. I didn't have to call you a thief. The digital trail did that for me. Sit down, Danielle. David slid 2 documents across the table. Document A, a completed police report for felony forgery and identity theft. $42,000. Ready to file the moment I say the word. Document B, an uncontested divorce. You take the fraudulent debt in your own name, since it was never mine. You waive the house, waive alimony. I absorb the credit hit myself and pay it clean. And you walk away broke but free. If you fight me, I said, I file document A instead. And the sheriff's office is 9 minutes from here. Her hands shook, picking up the pen. Peyton found her voice once the ink was down. You're destroying our whole family over a vacation. It was never about the vacation, I said, and something in my chest went very still. When you were 7, you used to ride along, in the service truck, and narrate. Every stop like it was breaking news. I thought I was raising someone kind. I still pay your tuition directly to the school, every semester, because that's not yours to lose. But the apartment, the car payment, the allowance, that ends this month. You want more than tuition and books? You go get a job like every other 20-year-old. She didn't scream. She just stood there and broke quietly. 6 weeks later, the divorce was final. Danielle's renting a 1-bedroom off Hewlin, working retail. Peyton picked up night shifts at a coffee shop near campus, finally learning what $1 costs. I sold the house. Too many memories of wiring. I fixed for people who never once said thanks, and used my savings to back. Tyler's garage. Most mornings you'll find me there with the books open, watching him run that shop like he was built for it. 20 years, I thought I was building a family. Turns out I was building a very expensive stage set. Now I'm free, and I've never been lonelier, and I've never been happier. If this one hit you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'll see you in the next one.